house, eating a big-ass sandwich and shit.
Nigga, I'm Santa Claus. What the fuck the milk and cookies?
Bow our heads at night, rich, wealthy, or poor with dislikes. We pray, asking for forgiveness for our sinful ways. With mind, body, spirit, and faith, we pray. Amen.
Yeah, amen. You like that, right? Amen. I wrote in my sleep.
Bow our heads, let us pray. Thanks to the day, bills paid, crib laid. Thanks to the yay. In that
Carlito, these new kids nowadays, they shotgun you just to see you fly up in the air, man.
Who are you working with?
I'm retired.
Retired.
That's right.
Retired.
On YouTube, we back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Dimes YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we back with another retro movie review, and we got Carlito's Way starring Al Pacino. This movie came out in 1993. To me, this is one of my classics. I feel like this is one of those underrated mob gangster movies. I feel like this don't get the same talk as like the movies like Scarface or Goodfellas, Casino, you know, on and on. It doesn't get that same, to me, recognition that those other mob gangster films get like that. But as far as Carlito's Way, it's one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites, man. A free man after years in prison, Carlito intends to give up his criminal ways, but it's not long before the ex-con is sucked back into the New York City underworld. Reconnecting with his dancer girlfriend, Gail, Carlito gets entangled in the shady dealings of his friend Dave, who also serves as his lawyer. When Carlito and Kleinfeld run afoul of shifty gangster Benny Blanco, it sets them on a dangerous path. This is pretty much the plot you're getting with this movie right here, Carlito's Way. For me, what I seen when I first watched this, of course, coming from Al Pacino, was a guy who had just lived the life, the street life, the gangster life. He'd seen it all, he had done it all, and he was tired. Like, he had a second chance at life. Because going into this movie, just at the beginning, he's pretty much, the cops pretty much made a mistake. Not made a mistake, they did something where they weren't supposed to do. And he was in prison for like 5 years, but he was supposed to be in for like 30. So him getting out of prison after 5, he like, shit, I got a second chance at life. So that's pretty much where we dive into his story. I kind of feel like I didn't like the beginning in a way, because I feel like they kind of gave it away. You know what I'm saying? As far as the ending. Like, I mean, we don't get no full recognition that he dies or whatnot at the beginning, but, I mean, you see that he gets shot and whatnot. So it's like, damn, why did they get that part away? That's the only thing, man. That's the only thing for me. But to me, we kind of getting the story and the redemption of a gangster, somebody coming from the streets and trying to do things the right way after a life of having street mentality, but still using that street mentality for good too. As far as his process behind his guidance, like for instance, you have certain ways where you have some of his people, like his cousin. Him, soon as he get out, he got his cousin rolling up on him, and he done heard all the stories about him or whatnot. I mean, he's Carlito, you know what I'm saying? He's the guy, he's the legend, you know what I'm saying, from the streets or whatnot. In Carlito's eyes, though, he like, man, shit, I ain't got no money. I'm broke. Like, I was about to do 30 years. I'm 5 years. 5 years of my life is down the drain. That's been in prison. Like, what you talking about? So he's pretty much trying to get at his cousin, like, man, this ain't it. I'm telling you, this ain't it. And even going forward in this scene, like, I remember the first time I watched this, man, and him right at that moment telling his cousin, and that whole setup when him and his cousin going in, you know what I'm saying, to make the drop or whatnot, and his cousin asked him to come along with him, like, they see you there, shit they pants. Man, you know how many times people don't put this on the album as far as a rap album or whatnot. But anyway, that scene in particular, it's like these certain things that started happening soon as he gets out. And it's like, nah, he done. Like, he completely is done as far as the street life, as far as even the gangster mentality. Because he like, it's not worth it. It's too much going on as far as when you got to deal with certain things. Whether it's dealing with cops trying to get you, or whether it's dealing with people trying to set you up. Like, old friends, people coming back into your life. And, of course, you got these type of friends. Shout out to my man as far as this good cast. We have a really good cast. Luis Gomez, who plays Pachanga. I think that's his name, Pachanga, man. But even with dealing with these type of situations, he has to deal with the people who want him to be the old him, and he's not the old him. He's trying to move forward. Then he got to deal with the cops, who's basically like, nah, you ain't changed. You still the same Carlito, blase, you know what I'm saying, that was in the streets back in the day doing what you was doing. Excuse me, y'all. I'm trying to make sure my camera is right. Doing a little extra stuff. But yeah, he's having to deal with all these different forms of shady people, as far as his old dealings with his older friends. Not only that, like I said, the cops. Not only that, he understands the backstabbing, the cutthroat, and everything that goes on when you involved with the streets or whatnot and being this gangster dude or whatnot. So his whole thing is, like I said, he just got out of prison after doing 5 years. He's done it all and seen it all. He was done with everything. One of the things, though, about Carlito and with everything he's trying to get done, it doesn't matter. He has a undying loyalty for his friends, and it ain't just the undying loyalty he has for his friends, it's just the way he is. It's the things he has as far as his loyalty. He's honorable, he has principles, he has morals, not as a gangster, but in general as a man. He holds himself to different standards, similar to the stories you hear about gangs and mobs, where some people hold it down when feds come, but some turn informant and can't handle the weight of the situation. This movie reflects a lot of those scenarios. You always hear about the whole thing recently where you have crews going down, where you have gangs going down, but you hear about 2 or 3 people telling on one another. Think about the whole Tekashi situation, where he was running around threatening people when he was a rapper, doing this and the third. Then when the real gangster shit started to happen, where it's not just going around being exploiting yourself or whatnot, getting all the girls, the money or whatnot, the real gangster shit come in where you got to deal with the consequences of your actions, where the police get involved, where the feds get involved. Now you in the investigation room. Now they telling you about all these years you might serve. Now they telling you about who you gonna be a bunk mate with, and all this type of things getting in your head. And but you wanted to be a gangster, right? And that's one of the things this movie reflects on. All of that stuff comes into play. But not only that, like I said, once again, you always go back to the whole thing with jealousy. You have a lot of people that he used to know that might be looking at him, like I said, want him to be the old him. But even if it's not that, it's like, yo, put me on, bring me into your organization, make sure I'm good, take care of me. You know what I'm saying? And if they feel like they not being taken care of, or they feel like you not bringing in income to make sure they pocket's good and they supposed to be your people, then they can flip it on you and go to talk to somebody else. So that's one of the things this movie reflects on too. And like I said, it's all about the street life and what comes with it, the good and the bad. And it's one of the things that the character of Carlito does, and he does a lot of reflections. He does a lot of reflecting on a lot of things that he's been through and a lot of things that he's seeing, because it's a rewind. He knows what comes with everything that he is seeing. And that's one of the things I really take from this movie, man, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about this movie. Once again, the classic cast. I can't forget about this cast, man. You got Al Pacino, of course, as Carlito. Louis Goldman, as I said, is Pachanga. You have Sean Penn as David, his lawyer. You have Penelope Ann Miller as Gail, his girlfriend. John Leguizamo, man. Hey, before I continue this, I got to talk about my boy John Leguizamo. Classic cast as far as an actor, man. This man done been in a lot of things, man. My boy Benny from the Bronx, Benny Blanco. I'm not Benny. Is his name Benny Blanco in this? Yeah, it's Benny Blanco, Benny from the Bronx. But one thing his character plays in here, and is a reflection of things that you might see nowadays, is the younger generation. You have the OGs, the guys that's like, yo, I ain't trying to listen to this old nigga. I ain't trying to listen to this old head and whatever he trying to tell me. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm capable of. And as far as these younger dudes who don't want to hear nothing, especially if they got some money, especially if they got some type of power, they ain't trying to hear nothing from these old heads that's done been through it, that's done seen it all, and everything that comes with it. And that's where you have with a character like Benny Blanco or Benny from the Bronx, a hothead, and he's young though, but that's another lesson that you get from this movie as far as the things that Carlito has seen, especially from him being younger at one point. It's one point in time in the movie where you got one of the it's not a bodyguard, but it's like one of the servers that works at his club that he is taking over. And he tells Al Pacino's Carlito, he was like, yo, you was Benny from a couple years ago. And Al Pacino, nah, that was never me. That was never me. I love that scene, man. He like, that was never me. But it's just showing you the reflection, and it's showing you the things as far as Carlito and the legend he's left behind as far as his presence and what he did as far as that gangster mentality once again. Another thing this movie really reflects on, and I gotta give a shout out to Sean Penn, is David, man. This nigga, once again, you go into the whole thing as far as Carlito's loyalty, man. David was his guy. The guy got him out of jail. He was gonna do 30 years, and David got him out and got him he only had 5 years, and David got him out early. So when David gets into a situation, you pretty much have Carlito with this whole thing as far as his loyalty. Like I said, he has standards, he has morals, and you pretty much have people around him, not everybody, in particular his girlfriend, who like, man, look, you trying to get out of the situation, you trying to change, but this undeniable loyalty you have for your friends and this and the third. And Carlito basically explained to her, this is who I am, this is me, this is who I am as a man, like this is my moral, this is a person, I am a loyal person. I cannot turn my back on my friends, and that's who he is. And at the end of the day, it is his downfall. It does become detrimental to him at the point where it kills him. You know what I'm saying? Once again, this movie came out in 1993, man. Don't tell me. I mean, maybe you all haven't. Some people haven't seen this, but if you haven't, I'm telling you, you definitely need to check out Carlito's Way, starring Al Pacino. Once again, I feel like it's one of those movies who doesn't get the recognition as far as those mob gangster films, and I feel like it definitely should be up to par as for one of those films. Anyway, though, like I said, Sean Penn plays the hell out of this role as his lawyer. I be forgetting at times that this Sean Penn with the hair and everything, but it goes back to this whole thing because Sean Penn is pretty much a guy who's got in too deep. But not only that, he's been shady, and he's a shady person. So when he tries to basically do some shady shit with a mob, and shit backfires on him, he basically tries to bring in Carlito to get him out of the situation, and basically bringing them both and putting them both into a deeper situation that Carlito didn't even have nothing to do with. But like I said, once again, it's Carlito's loyalty. Not only to David, but to all his friends, with people in his ear telling him like, yo, such and such ain't feeling like he getting paid, such and such ain't feeling like he getting enough of this and the third. And I even hear like he's spying on you for somebody else. Once again, this is Carlito's loyalty to his friends. The way he has their back, but it's not only the way he has their back, it's just him as a man. It's the way he is as a man and the way he carries himself. It's another reasons I love this movie, man. But overall, man, it's so many different lessons I talked about. Like I said in this movie, so many different lessons that you can get from this movie, especially if you call yourself living the street life. But even if you're not living the street life, it's the way you can go about the way people are just dealing with other people. But not only that, when you're trying to change your ways, maybe you're not in the streets, you're just trying to change your ways in general, and people don't want you to change. People keep trying to keep you to be the same person you was a long time ago, even though that's not you. And that's a lot of things you can take from this movie too, not just even with the street mentality, just in general as a person that's trying to change. And I feel like I got a lot of that from Carlito's Way too. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything, man. Like I said, once again, a very, very good cast, man. Even my man Viggo Morrison, man, he done been in for a lot of things. A very good actor, man. He got a very good, he ain't got too much of a big role in here. He kind of got a small role in here, but the role he got plays a pivotal part as far as the things Carlito sees and the things he's dealt with and the reasons he's trying to get out of the game and the reasons he does not want to be a part of none of the gangster shit or the street shit no more, and reasons he's trying to get out, man. Like I said, it's so many things going on, and I think one of the biggest backstabbings though, man, is his lawyer, bruh. Like the way he went about shit, not only with the whole mob shit and the way he had him come on and try to help him, and you already fucked him up with that situation on the boat when you dealing with the mob shit, then you're gonna try to set him up with the cops, and the cops even didn't believe his ass. That's the thing about it. And it's just so many things you could take from this movie, man. So many things. And like I said, overall, I just enjoy Al Pacino in this role because it is, to me, a different reaction from what he's been doing since then. You know what I'm saying? You coming out Scarface talking about Michael Corleone and Godfather and all those different type of roles, and him coming in playing this guy trying to find redemption. It was almost like if Tony Montana would have got locked up and he got out early. But nah, Tony Montana, he was Shell. No, this was Carlito. But anyway, man, it's definitely a tragic story about a guy who seems like he did too much and was not able to move forward in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just did too much and he wasn't able to go on. It has a lot of reminiscence of another one of my favorite movies, which is Menace to Society, you know, with Kane and what happened to him at the end of Menace to Society. And like, he just had done too much to move forward and he was took out. So it's kind of similar to this movie right here. Not the movie as far as what was going on, but just these two characters as far as Carlito and Kane, and them basically trying to move forward. You know, you had Kane trying to move out of the hood or whatnot and try to leave behind everything that he was dealing with, and you had Carlito trying to move forward, you know what I'm saying, just trying to stack up his bread just to get out or whatnot. But like I said, I really, really love this movie. This is definitely in my top 5 movies of all time. I don't know how many times I done said that, man. It's hard to put a number on top 5 movies when you got other movies that end up coming out and you're like, oh, that's one of my favorite movies too. So for me to be sitting here like this is my top 5, but it is, man, I'm telling you. I watched this movie not really later on, probably in my 20s, I would say. Probably my early 20s I first watched this movie, man. And I know it's a sequel that I kind of enjoy. It's definitely not as good as this one, man. It's not on par with this one, man. But overall, man, I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anything, man. Carlito is definitely one of my favorite movies. Like I said, it's a lot of lessons in here, man. And like I said, if you one of those people who happens to be trying to be in the street life, or who are still in the street life, or one of those people who done got out of the street life, it's definitely one of those movies for you should definitely check out, man. Overall, though, like I said, it's just one of those endings that I wish could have changed. You know how you had those movies where you want to see that guy get away, you want to see him get to that point where he's trying to get to, you just want to see him. And this movie, oh my God, it has one of the best endings, man. It has one of the best action endings too, with him maneuvering all over the place trying to get away from the sons of the mob dude that him and David kill on the boat, and him trying to do all of that, man. It's definitely one of my favorite scenes, and he right there. My man jumped out. Remember me? Benny from the Bronx? Shout out John Leguizamo, man. But overall, man, this is one of my favorite movies, man. You definitely should check it out if you haven't checked it out. And if you have checked it out, go give it a rewatch if you haven't checked it out in a long time. That's pretty much all I have for this one, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Have y'all seen Carlito's Way? Is y'all one of y'all favorite mob or gangster movies, man, starring Al Pacino? If you haven't, do you plan on checking it out? Let me know in the comment section, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to let you know when I upload new videos. This is the road to 400 subs. Shout out to all my recently new subscribers. Shout out to everybody who's been checking out my videos. And shout out to everybody who be taking the time to check out my videos and just watch me talk about my opinion on movies and everything else. I really appreciate it, man. We out.
He saved my life, Gail.
Whatever he wants you to do, don't do it.
That's what I am, right or wrong. I can't change that.
See me smile at the actual situation. And because they can sense that I'm not afraid of it, yeah, it's only because of my experience prior to.